I'm glad to be in Grand Forks. That's true. It's great to see all these Democrats again. It's been really nice to be a statewide candidate, traveling around and just meeting Democrats in different parts of the state that all seem to be at least 3.5 hours away from Belva. I was hoping to get here to Grand Forks a whole lot. My son, he also went to the Naval Academy. He was a surface warfare officer. He did 2 Westpac floats, one on a destroyer and one on an amphib. And then he applied to the medical program in the Navy. And part of that, you have to get into a medical school. And one of the schools he applied to was UND. So I was really pulling for him. But I guess he said UND asked a lot of questions about whether he had any relatives who had been in the North Dakota University system. So anyway, he got into the George Washington University. He's going to medical school there and really thriving. And since my 2 daughters are out on the East Coast near there, I guess it's convenient. I just don't get to come to Grand Forks and watch hockey with them all the time. So he and I were talking about the Naval Academy. When I was a plebe at the Naval Academy, when he was a plebe at the Naval Academy, every day we would read at least 2 front page articles, any Navy-related article, and a sports article. You had to be able to talk about any of them for 5 minutes at a time. So that kind of made us outliers, I realized later on in my career, or just as you go through life, you realize people really aren't all that plugged in, and it kind of made me addicted to good journalism. I still subscribe digitally to the New York Times and the Washington Post. The other thing you learn is that everybody has to subscribe to a different newspaper, and you have to share, because you never know when one of your upper class is going to have an article from the Wall Street Journal that you didn't see in the Washington Post. Well, what I'm getting at here is that most of the people out there, most of the voters, they're not like us. They're not this plugged into politics. They're not this plugged in to what's going on in the country. I have many friends who speak of don't think of themselves as Republican or Democrat. They talk about the Republicans or the Democrats. And those votes are out there for us to get if we can break through the noise. So that is my plan. I have kind of a Karl Rove strategy. And I'm sure all of you here admire Karl Rove a great deal. He did. You remember in 2004, John Kerry was running for president. And as a Democratic candidate, his great strength was his service in Vietnam. So what did they do? They swift voted him. They went after his strength. They're doing the same thing to Joe Biden now. Why do you think you hear so much about Hunter Biden? Because Joe's great strength is he is such a people person. He is such a great family man. He has suffered so much loss in his family. They want to turn that against him and use his own son against him. So my strategy is, my opponent, what is her strength? Her strength is she was given her seat by Doug Burgum. Her strength is that Doug Burgum wants to buy that seat for her again. There are a lot of Republicans who don't like the idea of Burgum appointing everybody, of Burgum paying for everybody's seat. Now, like Jonelle, I ran and I lost. That was in 2000. She ran again and lost and then won the 3rd time, right? Okay. My son didn't get into UND. That's my 2nd loss. So this time, I plan to win. Thanks.